Hey, welcome back to Livin MN Outdoors. I'm Daniel, and thanks for tuning in to another fishing report. Before we dive into the report, guys, if you use any of the guides or resorts mentioned in this week's fishing report, please let them know you saw them on Livin MN Outdoors. And with that being said, let's dive right into this week's report. Alright, this week we're going to start up on Leech Lake. The water temps on Leech have started to drop from these cooler air temps and the colder rain they've been getting. They were up in the 80s and now they have dropped down to 72 to 74 degrees. And with that, the bite has started to pick up. Now, some of the key areas to look for walleyes right now: Agency Bay, Cabacona Bay, and Walker Bay, on those weed edges near deep water in 10 to 16 feet. Now, the best ways to catch those walleyes right now is with a half a crawler and a jig. Now, some other areas that you can still target those walleyes: main lake rock piles in 14 to 18 feet of water. During the day, slip bobbers and a leech, and at night, pulling crankbaits over those rock piles. Now, the perch bite up on Leech Lake, that is starting to pick up some. Those perch are pushing up into those shallower weed lines in those shallow weed flats. The best ways to catch those right now is on a jig and a fathead. So if you want to target some perch, make sure you have some minnows in the boat. Now, as far as the panfish bite goes, the panfish are still hanging out on those very deepest weed lines, 10 to 14 feet of water. Not a ton of crappies being caught right now, but there are quite a few bluegills stacked up, especially on the deeper cabbage and milfoil. Throw a slip bobber with a chunk of a night crawler or a small panfish leech, and you'll probably catch some really nice bluegill. Now, the muskie bite on Leech, that is really firing up right now. The muskies are making their final push up to the very shallowest structures. The shallow weed lines, the shallow rock structures. Right now, top waters and jerk baits are the best two baits to catch those, especially during those low light periods. And pay attention to your majors and minors, and you might just tangle with a giant out on Leech Lake. Now, if you guys are looking for a guide up on Leech Lake, we highly recommend the guys from Leech Lake Guide Team LLC. They got 8 or 9 wonderful guides up there, whether you want to target muskies, walleye, panfish, whatever it might be. They can put you on a trip of a lifetime. Go ahead, check them out on Facebook, their website, or give them a call and get something on the books. Now, if you guys are looking for a place to stay up on Leech Lake, Horseshoe Bay Lodge, they have cabins, condos, hotel rooms, full bar and restaurant, fish cleaning shack, boat rentals, tons of activities and water toys for the kids. So if you're looking to get up to Leech Lake, do some fishing, and have a great time, go ahead, call Cam or Courtney from Horseshoe Bay Lodge. All right, now moving over to Lake Winnie. The walleye bite has been pretty good out on Lake Winnie. The best depth right now is at 9 to 13 feet of water. They've been getting them on the sand flats on the east side, on the weed lines on the south shore. They're starting to catch them again in Tamarack Bay pretty well. And the best ways to catch those are pulling spinners or using slip bobbers. Now, when pulling leeches and night crawlers, they're tending to get a lot of short bites, so they have been putting on some fat heads, and not necessarily are the fat heads working better than the leeches or the night crawlers, but it's preventing those short bites, and they're able to hook up with a lot more of the walleyes that are biting. So I highly recommend, if you're going to pull spinners out there, make sure you have leeches, crawlers, and fat heads in the boat, and that could be the key to success right now. Now, they're also catching them on slip bobbers with half a crawler or a leech as well. So if you don't want to pull spinners, throw a slip bobber and have a blast catching some walleyes. Now, the perch bite out on Winnie, Tamarack Bay is starting to produce some pretty nice perch. They're getting those up in them shallow weed lines and in the weeds, pulling spinners and on jigs and slip bobbers. Now, very soon here, They are going to prefer a fathead, so if you're chasing perch, make sure you have some fatheads in the boat. Won't hurt having them anyways if you're going to target some walleyes. And then as far as the panfish bite goes, still over in Big Cutfoot, they're getting some really nice bluegill still, 6 to 10 feet of water on the weed edges and reeds. Vertical jigging them with little ice jig or a slip bobber with a tiny little leech or a chunk of a crawler. Now, as far as the muskie bite goes, some of those muskies are starting to show up on the shallow rocks on the west side of the lake. They still are fishing them over on the east side sand flats as well. But as the water temps cool, those muskies are going to continue to push up shallow. So be checking those shoreline structures, top waters, jerk baits, bucktails. All of those are going to work really well right now. Now, as far as the pike bite goes, the pike have slowed down a little bit. They're still catching quite a few of them. If you want to up your odds like usual, put on a spinner bait or a spoon, troll around, you're gonna catch pike out on Lake Winnie. Now, if you guys are looking for a guide out on Lake Winnie, Zupsguideservice is the premier walleye guide out there. He does have some availability for both full day and twilight trips. So give Scott a call, get something on the books, and I guarantee you will have a blast fishing with Scott. Now, if you guys are looking for a place to stay, the Pines Resort, they have cabins and campsites available. Full bar and restaurant, dock slips, fish cleaning shack, whatever you could ask for, they can help accommodate you. So if you're looking to get up to Lake Winnie this coming weekend or in the future, go ahead and give Chad a call from the Pines Resort. All right, now moving over to Mille Lacs Lake. The walleye bite out on Mille Lacs has been steady all year long. It has been just a touch slower with the warm water temperatures that we've been having, but with the cold rain and the cooler air temps, things are starting to pick back up. Some of the better areas to target those fish, just off the structure on the mud flats and the rocks. The deep gravel is still producing some nice fish, and I have been hearing that some of those walleyes are starting to push in a little bit shallower on some of those deeper reefs. Now, the best ways to catch them, like usual out on Mille Lacs Lake, the slip bobber and a leech is the go-to, but a lot of guys are pulling bottom bouncers with spinners, having a bunch of success with those, and then some guys are still trolling lead core with crankbaits and picking up a few that way as well. Now, the perch bite out on Mille Lacs Lake, I would say that right now, this is the best perch bite that I have seen in probably 15 or 20 years over on the west and northwest side on the mud and off the rock structures. They're picking up some really nice perch using slip bobbers, leeches, and crawlers, and they're getting some really nice perch out there right now. Now, the smallmouth bass, the majority of the smallmouth, they have kind of pushed out of that 8 to 10 feet of water. The majority of them, I would say, are now in that 12 to 18, even a few of them starting to show up in that 20, 22 feet of water. And as the water temps cool, those fish will continue to push out deeper. Once again, the best ways to target those: Ned rig, drop shot, swim baits. Work them slow on calm sunny days, stay way off the structure, cast to those boulders and those rock transitions, and you're more than likely going to pick up some really nice smallmouth. Now, as far as the muskie bite goes, some really nice muskies being caught out on Mille Lacs. Most of the ones I've been hearing about are being caught out deep. If you can locate schools of Tullibee, that's usually where those bigger muskies are hanging out. Some guys are live scoping them and casting big rubber baits to them, and guys without live scope are trolling in the open water and picking some up that way as well. Now, as far as the pike bite goes, they're still catching pike down in the southern bays. Like usual, they're trolling big spinner baits and spoons. Purple and white and silver and white have been working well, along with some chartreuse mixed in. Now, if you guys are looking for a guide trip a launch, cabins, campsites, whatever it might be. Castles Resort has availability in their cabins and their onshore ice castles. They are running launch trips, and just a reminder, on August 16th, they are going to allow a 2-fish limit, either 2 between 18 and 20 inches, or 1 18 to 20 incher and 1 28 inches and bigger. So if you guys want to get out on Mille Lacs Lake, hop on a launch trip at Castles Resort, go out, catch some fish, and be able to have a fish fry afterwards, go ahead, call Jeff or Kimberly from Castles Resort. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this week's fishing report. If you guys are going to make it out fishing this week and you're going to hit one of the 3 lakes mentioned here, if you could, comment that down below. Let me know which one you're headed to. So if you guys do make it out fishing, take some pictures, send them to us on Facebook or to our email. Remember, be kind at the boat ramp, respect other fishermen, and most importantly, don't forget to get on out there and get living.